Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, Restored Motions, and RestoredMotions.com. Glad to have you hanging out with us here on this beautiful Tuesday. It is LSU Bama week. Brian Kelly and Nick Saban both met with reporters on Monday to preview the week. And the really good news for LSU is it looks like the Tigers are pretty healthy heading into this week. Brian Kelly gave a couple of updates, which we were kind of waiting for. Among them, looks like Garrett Dellinger is still questionable, but they're maybe hopeful that he'll be out there. Brian Kelly kind of described how they were putting a load on him, basically have people lean on him, like physically, to see if his knee would hold up. And they'll see, as they get closer and closer to the weekend, how that looks. If not, Miles Frazier starts at left guard, and you've been really good there the past couple of weeks with Dellinger out. Let's see, John Emery still day-to-day. Jack Besh practiced on Monday. They're confident that he'll be out there on Saturday. And Major Burns good to go. So good to go. He will be in the game plan. And I think that's probably the most significant. Look, Dellinger is one of your best five. I think that's pretty obvious to all of us now. But you've done well the last 2 weeks with Frazier in there at guard. So, and quite honestly, y'all, it's weird to say this about Bama because for so many years we looked at Bama and it was A'Shawn Robinson, Jerron Reed, Marcel Darius, who's the guy that Jonathan Allen. I mean, the interior players. They were so good on the interior defensive line for so long. It's weird because they've got the great edge rushers this year, but the interior isn't what it's been. I think that's maybe a little bit of an edge to LSU and not so much of a concern with Dellinger being out. Big assignment for the freshman tackles, but they've had big assignments already. All right, y'all. Let's say some good mornings here. So LSU Bama week. Today is the NFL trade deadline. We'll see if the Saints make any moves. Browns beat the Bengals on Monday Night Football. By the way, hat tip to the Otter, Jimmy Ott. On Magnolia Bluff Football Sunday, one of his guys, I don't remember who, gave the Browns. So another winning week on Magnolia Bluff Football Sunday if you straight bet all those guys. Game 3 of the World Series postponed last night. They'll make it up tonight. Yeah, man. Fun times in the sporting world. All right, let's say some good mornings here. Brian Pinton, Megan Hurst, Jason Austin, what's going on? David Coslin, Jeff McKithen, Kelly Presley. Do you know why Chase did not play last night? Yeah, Kelly, he's got a hip injury. So he's on the shelf. I don't think they sent him to IR, but they're expecting him to be out at least 4 weeks, but they didn't send him to IR in case if he's back sooner. So that's, you can tell it's a big loss for that team, clearly. Ryan Amanda Guidry, Deborah Cowart, good morning. Matthew Kane, I think we did one of the before, Kane, right? Good morning, was lucky enough to get 4 tickets to LSU Bama on the 40-yard line. That's awesome. Anybody looking at dump tickets, let me know. I always got people looking. I'm not paying ridiculous prices, but if anybody's got tickets they're looking to dump, let me know. Michael Thacker, good morning. Regardless of win or loss, can this team make a quick turnaround and not have a letdown versus the Ark and frauds? So that's a good question. I'll tell you what, Michael, the other thing that happened yesterday that I know a lot of fans were bummed about, but I was actually excited about, is the Arkansas game's at 11 a.m. And I know it for fans, we all want night games and all that stuff, but really what you want is night games in Tiger Stadium because it's a huge advantage. the same reason why you were bummed that the Tennessee game was at 11 a.m. in Tiger Stadium is the same reason you should be excited the Arkansas game's at 11 a.m. in Fayetteville. Because it in many ways neutralizes or mutes, softens that home field advantage. And the other thing too is when you go on the road, ask any of these guys who ever played, they'll tell you the worst thing about playing on the road. You fly on Friday, you go walk around the stadium. Friday night you do team meetings, dinner or whatever, you go to a movie. And then Saturday you sit in your hotel room all day waiting to play when it's a night game. And so in this case, bro, you're getting like a 5 a.m. wake-up call. It's like, let's get up, get ready to go play, win, get on the plane, come back home. So it's actually better that they're playing 11 a.m. Against Arkansas. And selfishly for me, that means I'll be done with my work by about 4 o'clock. So after whiskey and wine. Deshaun Moore, good morning. Saints need to move Michael Thomas. I think, Deshaun Moore, I think you're trolling me. I think you're trolling me. So I'm going to move on and ignore you because I think you're trolling me. If you're not trolling me, go to, you know what, I'm actually going to help you. I'm going to help you. Because you wouldn't possibly come here and say that to me with a lack of knowledge. Okay. No, that's not what I wanted. Close. Boom. All right, I'm gonna put the link in the chat to my video from AFR where I explain why I cannot move Michael Thomas or a lot of the other players that you would like for them to move. Wendell Norman, Damon Gilmore, Larry Garner, Weston Weaver, Trivia Carter. What's up? What's up with GameCoin? Board meeting this morning. They're actually adding some really freaking cool functions to it as well, which is going to continue to differentiate it, man. I know I keep saying be patient, but be patient. Like every single day, there's work going on. The way that I would kind of describe it, I know I'm giving you the under the hood analogy for it. Think of it like this. You're building a house and it's fun because like you see the frame go up and you see the outside of your house done and it's like, oh my God, I'll be in my house in 2 weeks. And then you realize, oh, you have to do every single interior detail. Floors, sheetrock, fixtures, paint, everything. So that's what it is. It's tedious, but it looks so good, man. We have a meeting this morning. Jordan Coleman, good morning, Matt. Quick question. How does one get into sports radio? It's a lifelong dream of mine. Yeah, that's not a quick question, Jordan. But what I would tell you is be persistent. Go cold call. Ask for a job. Be willing to do awful jobs for a long time before you get an opportunity to do something you actually want to do because it's so competitive. And there's no shortage of people like you who want to do those jobs. With a college degree, I worked 7 years before I had full-time employment. It ain't easy, bro. It's a grind. The profession, the industry purges people who aren't really committed because you will do crappy jobs and make no money for a long time. The other thing I'll tell you to do is start a podcast or YouTube channel right now. Like there's no excuse for anybody who wants to be in media to not start creating content now. Jeremiah Hardell, Alante Taylor got that dog in him. Yes, he does, man. Jason H, the Bad News Birds won again. They beat the Clippers, which was awesome to see. The Vegas is still slow to catch up on this team. If you wager, there's money to be made on the Pels. The Pels were a 2-point dog against the Clippers and won by 20, 21. So they're like Vegas and the public have been slow to catch on to this Pelicans team right now. So if you do sports bet, there's money to be made. Jeff, good morning from Memphis. All right, my dude, safe travels, man. Good to see you. Pels Lakers. No, Jason, Pels Lakers is tomorrow. They played Sunday, and then they had 2 days off. They play tomorrow. Shane O'Mac, what's going on? Happy All Saints Day. Yes, sir. Hunter Broadhead, Brad David. Why does Ole Miss not have the resources to win a championship? It is just not enough money. Yeah, Brad, I mean, that's it. When you look at revenue for in the league, the two poorest schools in the league are Ole Miss, Mississippi State. So, when you don't have, I mean, look at coaches leaving, athletic directors leaving. I mean, Ross Bjork left Ole Miss as the athletic director to go to A&M. Why? Years ago, Tommy Tuberville left Ole Miss to go to Auburn. Why? I mean, it's why you don't have the resources to pay head coaches, to pay assistants, to build the best facilities. And now in the NIL culture, I'll tell you, if you're look at Mississippi State, for example, with John Cohen leaving there, Ross Dellinger reported that Auburn's collective, NIL collective, has already raised or gained commitments for $13 million in NIL funds. Mississippi State's is less than $1 million. It's playing a different game. Joseph Feltwell, tired of all the stuff about Kamara getting traded. You just talked about how it's impossible with the contract. He and others have. Yeah, I mean, Joseph, I'll tell you, I wouldn't say impossible because I wouldn't speak in absolutes. People do dumb deals. I mean, Mike Ditka once traded an entire draft for a running back, but there's no sensible reason that the Saints would take on that much dead money and that another team would give up a significant asset for Kamara. Like, if I were a team that wanted to take Kamara in that contract, I mean, I'd give up like a mid or late round pick, but not a 1 or a 1 and a 2 or whatever the Saints are asking or, would want. Charles Jean, good morning. What a weekend it will be if LSU beats Bama and the Saints beat the Ravens. It would be a great weekend. Yes, it would. We haven't had one of those yet, Charles, where both LSU and the Saints win. Would love to see it this weekend. Eric Wilderrotter, compared to when Brian Kelly played Bama in 2013 and 2020, do you think he's working with more or less of a talent gap this year versus Bama? Oh, well, 2013, so it was the 12 season, the 13 championship. There was no comparison. His roster just could not in any way stack up to that Alabama team. I mean, remember, that was the Bama team that, that was the team that beat LSU on the Yeldon screen. And there was a reason that game ended. It was a 41-10 or something like that, 41-40. I mean, it was a blowout. They were closer in 2020. They played them tough. If I remember correctly, they played them tough for a half or so, and Bama ended up winning that one like 31-20 or 31-13, something like that. Let's see, January 1st, 2020. It was the Rose Bowl that they ended up playing in Dallas because of COVID. 31-14 was the final. So Bama was up there. Bama was up 14-0 in the first quarter, and then 21-7 at half. And then Bama scored 7 in the third quarter to go up 28-7, and then Notre Dame scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter, Bama a field goal. So actually it was never really close at all. I thought maybe it was close and Bama pulled away late. It was actually the opposite. Bama got up big and then kind of coasted. All right, y'all smash that like button if you would. YouTube, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. We appreciate y'all as always. Dax Jeter, what's good? 38-17, checking in. Todd Harris, Brian Broom, Kelly Gross, Ron Wisnand, LSU 34-28. Your keyboard to God's ears. Hey, Dad, good morning. Brian Wynn, Quentin Breakbill, Tyler Alexander, what's up? Brian Wynn, Matt, which strengths do we have that match up well against Bama? Well, I'll tell you, I think LSU is going to be able to run the ball. Oddly, would not have said that. And I think, and part of that is design runs with Jaden. I don't think Cole Kubelik talked about this yesterday. I think he's right. How if a team wanted, like if Bama wanted to spy Jaden, and let's say they wanted to use Henry To'oto, one of their linebackers, a really good player. Jaden's more athletic than he is. You know, that's probably a mismatch that favors Jaden Daniels. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily. Well, you said strengths that match up well. So I wouldn't say where LSU necessarily has an advantage, but a matchup that they can move the ball. And I like LSU's receivers. Now look, with Eli Ricks coming back healthy, Bama's been had a really tough year at corner. But having Eli Ricks healthy changes that conversation a little bit. So I still like LSU's receivers, and if the offensive line can protect Jaden, there's plays to be made in the passing game. Defensively, I mean, I really like how athletic LSU is in the defensive front seven. You better be, because with Jahmyr Gibbs and Bryce Young, they're a problem. I mean, Bama's receivers are not what they've been in the past. I mean, you don't have a Judy, a Ruggs, a Smith, a Cooper. Like, you don't have that guy. But I still think the guys they have are better than LSU's corners. So, anyway. Chewy Gutierrez, Brian Kelly's a funny guy. I really like his press conferences. He tries. He definitely tries. Let's see. Jason Austin, what do you think of the 49ers signing Christian McCaffrey? Yeah, man, they're all in. I mean, they gave up a load for him, but you get a little resurgence from a guy like that who's that dynamic in that offense, who needs playmakers outside of Debo. Yeah, I mean, it's when you feel like you're in win now mode, you make a move like that. I mean, shoot, they were in the NFC Championship game a year ago. Jeremy Sagely, morning, Matt. 4 more days till Super Bowl in Tiger Stadium. Dax Jeter, question. Bama has only given up 15 touchdowns all season, 7 against Tennessee. Will LSU be able to score enough to stay in the game? Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that is the big question, really, and can you limit them? But, you know, the other thing I'll tell you, too, is yes, it's true Bama's defense has come up big, but here you go. They shut out Utah State, allowed 7 points to ULM, 3 points to Vandy, 6 points to Mississippi State. So it's 4 games right there where you allowed a combined 16 points in 4 games, you know. I mean, Arkansas scored 26, and KJ Jefferson got hurt in that game. A&M, with all of their anemic issues, scored 20. Now, granted, Bama fumbled like 3 times in that game, but, you know, Texas lost that game 20-19, and you know, they missed a chip shot field goal. They were cruising early in that game, man, until Quinn Ewers got hurt. So my point is, teams that move the ball on Bama, and LSU's going to be capable of moving the ball on Bama, when they punch it their own weight. So, and I'll point out again, man, Bama struggled on the road the last 2 years. I do think this will be competitive. I do. Thought I heard Drew. Sorry. Jeremy Sagely, who will Auburn go after? Lane Kiffin. Everyone over there seems to think Lane Kiffin's at the top of their list. By the way, shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, brortho.com. You need orthopedists, go to Brock. All the subspecialties. Remember, after hours clinic, nights and weekends. They got you covered. You can bypass the ER. Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Would love to give you that free, no obligation roofing inspection. Remember, Hudco is Louisiana's only certified fortified roofing company. Fortified roof can save you more than 50% on your homeowner's insurance. It's worth a call, 364-1007. Let our people explain fortified roofing to you, 364-1007. And, of course, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. If you have pain, book a session. Going to see Crystal Lamar, as a matter of fact. So, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. Blake Betts, good morning. LSU Bama week, great time of the year. Would be fun to see us pull it out. Love the show. Thank you, Blake. Appreciate that. Ty Fly, what's Brian Kelly's record after bye weeks? He did really well at Notre Dame. I'll go pull the numbers, but he was really good at Notre Dame coming off of a bye. Bubba Smith, good morning. Jump back over here to YouTube. Dominique Cottrell, any moves you think will be made for the Saints? The only things I think could happen is maybe they move Marquez Callaway, Nick Vanette, but that's probably the extent of their opportunities to move players. Irfan Sayad, Gamoggan. Brad David, why didn't LSU schedule a UAB game after Alabama? So the SEC puts out your conference games. So the SEC gives you your conference schedule, and then you schedule your non-conference games around that. Jesse Brown, morning, Matt. Ready for the Rosters Riches podcast drop? Will you be doing this all year and beyond? I'm glad you said that, Jesse. The episode that's dropping today is with Christy Dosh, and I need to make sure that I need to head and tail that thing. That's not ready to be published, and I think our guy might publish it without knowing that. And we did record an episode yesterday. It'll drop next week, so thank you, man. Appreciate the support. Blanche Hudson, in every analysis I've seen, they all say LSU must start fast. LSU DNA is they're a slow starting team. By that analysis, they've already lost. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, I would love to see LSU start fast, but I've seen them start slow against everybody and rally. So I don't know that I necessarily completely believe that. Samuel Smith, Otters and Fuego. He is, man. Yep, Ahio, good morning. Do you think the Saints make any type of trade today? Yeah, just kind of alluded to that. The only thing that I could see them doing maybe is moving Marquez Callaway or Nick Vanette. It's the only ones that would make sense. But then again, who knows? Hank Hill 420, RIP. Takeoff, he was cool, even if he was Falcons fan. Sorry, I don't know who Takeoff is. My apologies, not trying to be disrespectful. Mike Prima, Atlanta should have lost yesterday. They pulled one out of their bum. Sunday, but yes, they did. Spurge, good morning. How was Drew's Halloween? It was good, Spurge. Thanks, man. He was a Superman, and we had the whole family over here to trick or treat and in our neighborhood. So, good day, man. It was a good day. Thomas Lamont getting hyped for basketball. Not many big games on the schedule early. Still can't wait to see what this team looks like. Thomas, we actually got a chance to talk to Matt McMahon yesterday, and Matt McMahon was a guest on Rosters to Riches a few weeks back. Would highly recommend you go check that out. It's an NIL podcast that I do with Jonathan Pixley from Matchpoint. But we talked with Matt a lot about the team as well. So if you want to check it out, Rosters to Riches. Let's see. Raiders-Saints game was my first Saints game in the Dome. Dome was electric. I will say Raiders fans were pretty humble despite getting hagged. Let's see. Hank Hill. My Aggies almost beat LSU, so LSU ought to beat Bama for sure. I think LSU is pretty dang good. Aggies haven't played LSU this year. But we'll see, man. I don't really do the transitive property thing, but we'll see. Jonathan Martin, good morning. Carlos Vlon, good morning. Brian Williams, got to keep Gibbs in check. Every game I've watched, he's been the guy. Got to shut him down or limit him massively. Bama's offense really started to take off once they started riding Jahmyr Gibbs more, and that did kind of coincide with Bryce Young's injury. But yeah, I mean he's explosive. Do you think not getting steam from Vanderbilt in the portal will help LSU's O-line in the future, getting young guys reps? It's a good way to look at it, Chance. I mean, I would rather not have to lean on two true freshman tackles, but them going through the fires, I think, is a net positive, long term. Would I rather, a potential all-conference, experienced SEC left tackle? Yeah, but Will Campbell's doing a heck of a job too, man. Jeremiah Hardell, who are you rooting for in the World Series? Man, I'll be excited for Bregman or for Nola. Either, I don't really care for either team per se, but if Bregman wins it, I'll be pumped. If Nola wins it, I'll be pumped. So either way, I'm kind of just watching and pulling, just watching the World Series and pulling for those those two guys to do well when they get their opportunities. Big boy, 46 Hard Knocks. I think if we can keep the game close, we'll have a chance to win. I agree. If you keep the game close, you will have a chance to win. I know what you mean, though. Gregory Gordy's still in the survivor pool. Okay. Takeoff as a rapper of the group Migos. Okay. Yeah, I'm so out of the loop on pop culture and especially music. So, my apologies. That didn't mean any offense by it. Bubba Smith, good morning. All right, last one. Glenn Thomas, Major Burns returning is very exciting, adding depth and better tackling to an already improved defense. R.B. Williams has to be a beast against Bama. Oh, Josh Williams. Man, I would say more so Armani Goodwin. With him healthy, he's your starter. He's far more explosive. So I'd look more to Armani Goodwin than Josh Williams. I like Williams. Don't misunderstand me. I think he has a role, but I think Goodwin, if he's healthy, is your guy. Major Burns is a good tackler, but I tell you that we've talked about this a little bit, Glenn. Major Burns is a good tackler, but I think like the differentiator with him and a guy like Joe Fouché is Fouché is a real good box safety, and I think in this game in particular, I like Major Burns because he provides a little more in the pass coverage part of the game. Tyler, saw a report this morning, Bill O'Brien to Auburn. If this is true, what do you think of that hire? I haven't seen that, Tyler. And I think everybody can throw out names of possibilities. Look, Bill O'Brien did a good job at Penn State. Remember, he inherited Penn State after the Joe Paterno scandal, which was a terrible thing to inherit. Their roster could leave penalty-free, and they still managed to win. So that was impressive. And anybody that kind of goes on the Saban, learns from the Nick Saban School for Wayward Coaches, you'll have my attention. So, yeah. All right, y'all, I got to get going. What's the chances we defer if we win the toss? I think they'll defer. I think Brian Kelly is reconciled the fact that he needs to defer. All right, y'all, I think we're done. So do you think Matt Rule coaches next year? I do, Chance. All right, y'all, I got to get out of here. Y'all have an awesome, awesome morning. Awesome day. As always, shout out to Brock, Hudco, Restored Motions. If you are on YouTube, please take a quick second, smash that like button. Subscribe up to the channel if you haven't done so yet. And Facebook, please like the page, share the post. Y'all have an awesome day. AFR at 3 and Sports Takeover on WBRZ Plus tonight at 6:30. See y'all. Peace.